InfoScholar, Harrowing Tales. Hitchhiker to Montgomery. Driving towards Montgomery, Alabama, late one evening, two businessmen planned to spend the night in a small town on the way. They were making good time through some low country, where the road was a few feet above the surrounding land. Their headlights picked up a figure far ahead. As they drew nearer, they discovered it was a little old lady walking briskly along the side of the road. Slowing down to speak to her, they saw that she wore a pale lavender dress, freshly pressed and sparkling clean. Her hair was neatly done, and she turned a smiling face towards them. She seemed completely untroubled about walking down a lonely highway in the middle of the night. When the men asked what she was doing on the road at that time of night, she laughed and explained that she had started out to visit her daughter and grandchildren in Montgomery. She had hoped, she said, to get a ride for at least part of the way, but no one had offered her a lift, so she had just kept on walking. The two men said they would give her a lift as far as the next town, a 2-hour drive, and she was delighted to accept. She sat in the back seat, and as they drove through the night, talked about her daughter and 3 grandchildren, their names, where they lived, children's school, the usual small talk among strangers. When the subject was exhausted, the men eventually became engrossed in business conversation and forgot about the little old lady altogether. When they reached their destination, they stopped to let the elderly lady out, but she was gone. Panic-stricken to think that she might have fallen out along the way, they headed back in search of her, but they found no sign of their passenger, even though they retraced their route to where they had picked her up, and even saw her tiny footprints on the shoulder of the road where she had first talked to them. Dismayed and mystified, they drove on to Montgomery and found her daughter's name and number in the local phone book. They felt they had to tell her about what happened and about what appeared to be a terrible accident. After listening to their story in bewilderment, the young woman pointed to the 3 photos on the mantel. Could they identify their passenger, she asked. They did, and she agreed it was her mother. Without a doubt, they had talked to her. They went on to describe her dress, and the woman burst into tears. That was the dress, she said, her mother had worn when she last saw her. When was that, they asked. The woman replied between sobs, when she was buried just 3 years ago today.